artmoney.com/shop.
Oh, perfect.
And you can find her on TikTok at Artmoney. It's just at ARTMANEE. Oh my gosh. So for me, being the age that I am right now, it's interesting to see that it looks as if she's only 20.
Didn't it blow you away?
Creating stuff like that at the age of 20.
20, yeah.
That is insane.
No one intervened on behalf of...
Good. Get good. Jim Overton, and I'm Trey. And today, we have
Salutations, good people. Welcome to the CS Podcast, where we create stuff. Or if you're Trey,
Money!
Oh, God. Create shit.
I don't know, what if you had 60 chickens?
An inch and a half, that's about that.
That's about there.
You said it with confidence.
Hey kid, that limp was pretty good, but that wince was money.
He's had him throwing a goat, and in midair he's just like, ah! Like, I don't know what sound a Barry Manilow makes.
You know what a hawk sounds like, right?
I do. It sounded like you were trying to say a word. Jody in the Soapbox is opening for Retro Garbage tonight. We gotta get there, man. We gotta get tickets. The first thing we're gonna buy with our gumball money is an animated butt.
What just chaps your nipples? Like, what is it?
What is it, boy?
I don't know, son. It's just a joke.
Gary Bankston.
And today, we've got our hands absolutely full. Salutations, good people. Welcome to the CS Podcast, where we create shit, or if you're Josh,
Create stuff.
and today we've got our hands absolutely full with another content creator. Josh, who are we talking about?
We are talking about... Hang on. We are talking about Artmane.
Oh, man. They're going to watch this and be like, oh, my God, what have I not signed up for?
What is the beauty of you saying what you did and me saying what I did? That I don't even know what's happening.
Yeah.
Should we keep this?
Sure.
Okay. I don't feel right.
You don't feel right? Yeah, it's weird. If you get it together and do your intro.
I know.
You got one job. One job.
Okay.
Oh, so yeah, we're talking about Artmane.
We're rolling?
I'm rolling.
Okay.
I'm rolling. We don't need another intro. Okay. And that's what this episode is going to be revolving around. You know, we've swapped up the format for those of you that have been here a little while. And so we're dedicating entire episodes to our featured content creators.
Yes, content creators that we deem worthy to have half an hour dedicated to just them.
Yeah. So
and topics revolving around them and discussions.
So scrolling through TikTok, come across this video and it says, I told my sister to draw something random, and this is what I saw. And so it's like a bunch of squiggles. Like I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, like
it's like a chewed up candy bar.
Yeah, like what are you gonna make out of that?
Yeah.
And then it's titled by the author or the artist. Funeral of a Bee.
Was that the one?
That's the one. That's the first one I saw. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And so, I don't. It's this incredibly beautiful, just somber funeral.
Right.
Like these flowers giving this bee a funeral.
Right.
And I'm like, how did like the vision that was in here? I'm pointing to my head for those that are listening. In their head, to have seen that from just squiggles is incredible.
I believe that's the essence of what we like to promote.
Oh yeah,
is creativity. We get asked, where did electric desk elves come from?
Yeah,
and we're like,
yeah, it's pretty. You
accurate. Had an idea? Where did CS Replay come from? It just kind of blossomed. Like it started with a little tiny. The smallest of ideas.
Just like the bee. She
saw
the lines and connected the dots. And from there it grew.
And we have a dead bee.
Yeah, we have a dead bee.
And it is, I mean, the story that gets told. So I'm going to touch on that.
Absolutely.
I think with any kind of craft, if you can tell a story, you'll have somebody hooked.
Yeah.
And it is that creativity being expressed through art, which is what Artmane has done.
Yeah.
And I believe I'm saying that right.
I believe so. It's Artmanee.
Yeah.
Maybe it's
So-
Artmanee? I doubt it.
However, you discovered her,
Yeah.
and then showed the videos to me, and I don't know, I kind of fell in love with the stories that were being told.
Yeah.
Like, my gosh, it was with the son and the vampire. Like, that's deep.
Yeah.
For a picture, that tells a story, and you can purchase their art. I'm gonna have to look it back up. I didn't write that down, but
But it is available for purchase.
It is available for purchase, and we're going to tell you.
And a lot of these prints that you will find do have like a darker kind of somber like feel.
So if
I feel the ones that I've seen, anyways.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of despair.
Yeah,
like it's
despair,
a lot.
that's
It's
good.
despair driven.
Yeah.
So on her shop website,
Mm-hmm.
it says hello. And if I had to pronounce this, it would be Armani.
Yeah.
That's her first name. So if it's
Oh, I bet it's Artmane.
Artmani.
Ah, well.
We-
We figured it out.
Yes,
Yeah,
we
sorry.
apologize, Armani, if that is how you.
Yeah.
I have my last name's
guarantee-
Oglesby, and that's been
Yeah.
a train wreck listening to some people try to pronounce that. It's
Yeah.
not been great all the time. And she is from Arizona, and you can
okay.
find her find her prints for sale, her art for sale at artmani.com/shop. And there you have got
Pages.
yes, well, you've got the Funeral for a Bee
Yeah.
print for only $30.
That's it.
That's it.
Wow. Okay.
And you've got the Sun's Curse print for $30, and then you've got some
That's
for
a steal.
$25. I noticed one When You Wish print, which that you heard me. That caught my eye before
Yeah.
we started. When You Wish print. Well, it says from $13, so I imagine you can get possibly different. Let's see.
I was gonna say you might be able to get different sizes,
sizes.
like a 8 or like a 4x7, 5x2.
Well, you can get a 5x7 or an
5x7,
8.5 by
whatever it is.
11. So the 8.5 by 11 is $25,
That's still not bad at
and
all.
the 5x7 is only $13.
That's it.
Yes,
Jeez.
Nobody else is going to have this art,
No.
this style of art.
Yeah.
She is quite a unique artist.
Well, she definitely has her own style. Like I look at it and it's not like I'm not connecting it to anybody else. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like sometimes you look at some art and you go, okay, I could see they drew inspiration from this artist or this style or whatever. And with hers, it's very, very unique.
I can't stop looking. It is
Yeah.
super intriguing. It just draws you in.
Yeah. You want to show the audience for those that are watching?
Since we've been talking about Funeral for the Bee or for a bee,
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and show that one.
And so it's like when you go to, like, I discovered them on TikTok. So when you go to TikTok and watch these videos, you get to see kind of a behind the scenes of this process, which is, I don't know, it's always incredible to me when I come across an artist's TikTok to get to watch them kind of flesh out all these little tiny details, because I'm not how do I put this? Artfully inclined. Let's put it that way. Like,
Right.
Like, you know, I know you can like break stuff down like to basic shapes. Like, oh, an eyeball is like a circle, and then you draw another circle, and then you just fill in the details. And like, I can't fill in the details.
Right.
It just, for some reason, it doesn't click in my head.
Okay.
And so to watch these
You
paintings
express
come to
yourself
life,
in other ways.
Oh yeah, yeah,
And Armani does it.
and in
through
their own
this.
way, yeah.
Yeah.
And so, but it always blows my mind watching those process videos of this art coming to life and going, okay, well, okay, you took this line and moved it there, and okay, now it's a flower.
Right.
You know, like for me, I'm watching it going, okay, what's it gonna be? What are you making? What are you making? Like, what's that gonna turn into? And I think that's part of the fun of it, you know. And I think that's part of the fun in today's age. Like you think about like Da Vinci and Picasso and these like famous like painters and stuff, these famous artists. We didn't get to watch the process.
Right.
Like, could you imagine being if Da Vinci had a TikTok? If we could have watched.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I think it's a very special time that we live in, that we can watch these artists create their craft, like live through it, and we can kind of live through it with them in a way, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. I mean, that's what a cool question.
Because we only ever see the finished product with like the old, you know, like our old classics. You only ever see the finished product. You don't know what went into it. You don't know the you know, the process.
Well, so the good thing about books is I do know that like Beethoven, Mozart, one of them. I'm reading a book on. Well, not currently, but I've read a book just about how we're not necessarily born talented.
Yeah.
Saying that somebody is talented and that they were just born with a gift is what society has done to give ourselves an excuse for not putting in the work that it takes to have that kind of talent.
Yeah.
Larry Bird, what a random person I'm going to talk about.
Yeah, it was,
he shot anywhere from 100 to 500 free throws before he went to school every morning.
Yeah,
that's not including basketball practice.
Yeah.
But I guarantee you he's been accused 1,000 times of just being born with it.
Yeah, he's just naturally gifted.
Yeah, I couldn't do what he does. Like, my dad made the same excuse. I was with him over Christmas, and he said, well, see, I'm not inclined when it comes to all that. And I said, well, neither were they, but they learned. He's like, well, yeah, but it just doesn't click for me. I'm like,
it could.
It could, if that was your craft. You just don't want to. A lot of things don't click for me, and I don't care to expand my learning.
Which is fine.
Right. But with Beethoven, it was nobody heard the tons, whether it was Beethoven or Mozart, one of the classics, nobody heard the thousands of songs that they discarded.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
They didn't think was worthy of being out and about to the public.
Yeah.
So they trashed it. All people hear is the finished product. So it's wonderful to know that those greats had to go through that process.
Yeah.
But
when you think about all those discarded products, like they probably who knows how great those were.
Too bad Beethoven didn't have a Patreon.
Yeah.
That we could have listened to all the stuff that he didn't put out for the public. Yeah.
Beethoven's B-sides, like. But yeah, like I don't know. You think about those extremely talented, like just the stuff that they discarded, how it was probably worlds above anything that I could make. Or
anything at that time, and then anything with today's time, like classical music. Most people our age, you're going to find a lot more who don't enjoy classical music.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the appreciation of the art and everything, like that's a whole different story.
Yeah.
And then you've got like Armani's way of expressing themselves. What a wonderful picture, pun intended, that she's painted when it comes to how she wants to express herself.
That's a cool question. I would want to know, like, I want to know what her like throwaways are.
Yeah,
like that was deemed not good enough.
Right.
Like, this just isn't good enough. Because coming from a creator background, I know how it is to be like that perfectionist.
Mm-hmm.
And for me to look at like we almost did it with Christmas Light Elves. I almost scrapped it and had to reshoot everything because I just was not happy with how it was going.
Right.
And we salvaged it. But that's just one project. Like, I would love to see the probably hundreds of prints that probably didn't make the cut.
Yeah. That she got frustrated with, crumbled up, threw away.
Yeah. I think that's something too that people don't realize unless they are creating is for every work of art that you find, there were 1,000 rough drafts and, revisions before that.
Right.
That you never see. You only ever see the finished product. And if you saw the rough draft, it almost might leave you going, well, damn, like, what's that going to be?
Yeah.
And then you'd be surprised. Like, it's crazy the amount of revisions and the way things change and evolve as you get into creating something.
Well, it's fascinating to think that somebody might be a fan of said rough draft that never made it, and said, "Well, that's perfect. That's beautiful. I
like it better.
I like that." But it's not the artist. It's not
Yeah.
them. They said it's not going to make it, so it's not going to make it.
Yeah.
And then that goes back to an old conversation we had on another episode talking about staying true to your creative self.
Absolutely.
At what point do you start catering a little bit to the fans?
Yeah.
At what point does that become a part of your art? Is catering to the fans? I want to create something that the fans do enjoy, but staying true to myself at the same time.
I could be wrong on this, but I feel that naturally occurs as you present your art to the public. I feel like to some degree, no matter how minuscule it might be, I think even subconsciously you might think, well, man, I wonder what, because you're out in the public, most people you're gonna you especially if you're creating something, you kind of care what people think about it,
right?
And so even to a small degree, I think that happens to everybody, that you kind of go, I wonder, will the fans like this? That kind of starts creeping into your work.
Yeah.
Not that you would cater to it. It might creep in and you go, well, I don't really give a shit, like what the fans think.
Yeah.
But I think to some degree it influences you over time.
Absolutely. And
even if you don't even realize that you're doing it, you make one small change, then inevitably may not have happened if you kept your work private and you didn't have like fans.
You didn't have that feedback.
Yeah.
Right. That's why I think there's such a gray area of staying true to your creative self versus, I don't even want to say catering, but adjusting.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, and I mean, I don't know. As you get feedback from people, you take it constructively and you improve your art. I don't know if that's necessarily catering to.
Right. That's why I wanted to change that
it's
word.
It's a weird line. Like there's a line there.
Yeah. Well, I can compare pro wrestling to anything, but with pro wrestling, you had like everything you do is based on the crowd's feedback.
Yeah.
If they don't like it, or you don't hear a reaction at all, it's time to change it up. Yeah. So you have to base it on that.
Well, and I think too, as creators, we obviously create for ourselves. We're channeling something into this, but I also feel there is kind of a natural need to be accepted.
I was about to get into that.
To have you like you're creating, you're physically making something. Yes, it's for yourself, but there's also like a selfish I want people to see this. I want them to like it.
Yeah. And I think we all feel that way. It's just what level.
Yeah.
Like Armani might create and say, you know what? Yes, it's nice if people appreciate it, but if you don't like it, I'm not going to get too worried. Yeah. I don't know. I'm just using her as an example. But yeah, this is the way I express myself. If you like it, great. I'm just going to put it out there in the world because I want to share it.
Yeah. And so real quick, do you have the website for her, like the shop?
Yeah, I said it a little bit earlier.
Did you?
It was,
okay, I just want to let people know.
Let me make sure I get it right again.
That way people can go and actually look at this stuff and buy something if they want to buy something.
Artmoney.com/shop.
Oh, perfect.
And you can find her on TikTok at Artmoney. It's just at ARTMANEE.
And you'll see like just the process of creating these images is, I don't know. And it's fun to watch. It's addicting.
Oh my gosh. So for me, being the age that I am right now, it's interesting to see that it looks as if she's only 20.
Didn't it blow you away?
Creating stuff like that at the age of 20.
At 20, yeah.
That is insane.
Yeah. It's
She's currently at 903.8 thousand followers on TikTok.
Nice.
Instagram is 107,000.
That's it?
On Instagram.
I just feel like Instagram is made for images. Like,
Right.
You know what I mean? That's a
Right.
that's a crime.
Well, that just lends to what you said earlier about seeing the creative process unfold.
Yeah.
Watching a physical video
That's
in front of you. And it's TikTok.
Yeah,
You typically can garner a lot more, a much bigger following
Yeah.
on TikTok. Just like us. We have 60
followers on TikTok compared
versus
to
the
our
52 on
We're
YouTube.
getting there.
Holds up with us.
Yeah.
Well, we don't, to be fair, we don't put out a ton of TikTok content.
Yeah, we don't.
Not regularly.
Which is funny that we're ahead on TikTok with our 50 videos on YouTube.
Yeah. That is funny.
Anyways, sorry I interrupted you. I don't know what you were gonna say.
Well, I don't remember. That's okay.
Okay.
No, I think that was, I had finished my thought, I believe.
No, okay, maybe you did. I felt like I interrupted you.
Well, go ahead and feel guilty. It's fine. Feel like you owe me something. That'd be good.
Okay.
But no, so make sure you check her out on, at least follow her on her social media.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you're going to be, if you have any level of appreciation for art in general, you should be blown away.
Yeah.
And if you're not,
Tell your friends.
yeah, tell your friends.
Word of mouth is the least you could do.
Exactly. But yeah, so like we were saying, what I noticed with her art was a lot of despair. I think after scrolling through maybe 10 pictures, I saw one picture where one of the characters featured was smiling.
Yeah.
So that was, like 1 out of 10. It doesn't look like it's meant to be.
And I mean, I'm
happy.
sure probably challenging some feelings in there.
Who knows?
But I mean, I was going to say not necessarily though. Sometimes you create sometimes it's fun to just create something completely different to what you're feeling.
I was talking to Corey about creating a video, and it started, we just started bouncing ideas back and forth, and it had to do with a plastic bag.
I know what you're talking about, yeah.
And it was so funny and hilarious, and then the end, I put a twist ending on it.
Yeah.
And it was that the man lost his daughter in an accident or from sickness.
Yeah.
And the plastic bag was her imaginary friend, and she asked him to carry on its legacy.
Well, and I think that's the greatest thing about art is to be able to how incredible is it to create something tangible, intangible, whatever it may be, that makes somebody feel something so powerful.
That's why I love pro wrestling. I can make somebody feel a certain way, and they can boo me, get upset, angry, and I can see it. It's instantly gratifying.
Yeah.
But to create something like you're saying, it's incredible.
Well, and leaning back to Artmanee'S art, I mean, you look at it, it makes you feel something.
Yeah.
It makes you feel, I don't know, like, it's not sad. It's just...
It's stirring
it's just
emotions.
Deep.
It's deep.
It's very deep.
Yeah, and to do that through a picture.
Yeah, just a fleeting picture on the internet, like...
Right.
You know?
And like you said, she could be drawing from a little despair in real life. Who knows?
Yeah.
One thing we talked about before we went live was me being told, by, as I eloquently put it, a hippie couple in Tennessee.
Oh, yeah.
telling me that, well, the next time you're in a play or you do a new character in front of a camera or just whatever, you might be able to tell a better story because of the things I've went through.
Yeah, because of your life experiences.
Because of, whether it's negative, positive, whatever, like you know how that feels.
And what's great is you're the only one that can tell that story.
Right. And to be able to maybe make somebody who has never felt that see somebody expressing that through a character might make them feel it and might make an emotion wake up in them that's been dormant this whole time. Yeah. And maybe they look at things differently. Yeah. It's incredible what you can do. Right. Exactly. And Armani, just from her pictures, has stirred up this conversation.
Yeah. I think that's my...
Artception.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I think that's my favorite thing about what we do is being able to just all these different experiences through people's arts and whatever it is that, you know what I mean? Like every creator has a different story to tell. And they inevitably pour a little bit of that into whatever it is that they create, or they pour a lot into it. It depends on the creator, But I don't know.
Well, every one of their stories is unique.
Yeah.
nobody's going to have that same exact story.
Mhm.
That's what it's like, a new book. It's just like a brand new book, but a different person, a different content creator.
Yeah.
I think that's extremely extremely powerful. So, how fun it is. Or if you're creators like us and we create comedy skits, maybe you don't want to feel despair. Maybe you don't want to feel anything. Maybe you want to escape from that.
Yeah.
Well, there's artists for that too. And,
absolutely.
And we're here. And if you enjoy this escape, make sure you
Make sure you like and subscribe.
and comment in the
Description down below.
description.
Follow us on Spotify and leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcast. And you can follow us on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram at officialcspod.
And you should interact. We would love to have this conversation with you.
Yeah,
What do you create? Would you like to be featured?
Oh, yeah, you
Hit
hit
us
us
up.
up. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Would you like us to discuss your craft as we see it? Evaluate your craft. Craft evaluators.
Craft evaluators. That's our new.
That's what we
title.
do. We evaluate crafts and just talk about it.
I was gonna say, but it's not like we're not the end all be all.
Oh no, we're not. We're not critics.
We're just gonna go, hey,
Your stuff's cool,
yeah, we
and
like-
this is why we think it's cool.
yeah, we think it's cool because
because of the way it is.
because of the way it is.
Yeah. How can you rate art? Like, how can you? How
I mean,
can
there
you,
are art critics that do it. It's such a subjective.
It's
Like, I mean, I guess you could rate, like, you could critique, like, technique, maybe.
yeah.
But it's kind of, it's one of those things where art is a medium where there are rules and the rules are made to be broken. So, like, yeah, you should draw a circle this way, or you should do it this way, or this technique or whatever. But then you break that technique for, like, I don't know. It's kind of like, I'm thinking more for, like I lend it towards, like, cinematography. So there's, like, the 180 degree rule where, like, you shouldn't, like, when you're cutting, I don't know, there's like an imaginary line. You don't go past that line unless you go directly, like, a 180 degree cut. Like, I don't know. It's a whole thing.
Okay.
I probably have that wrong anyways. It's
believe
been a while
you.
since I took that class, but you can break that rule for, like, artistic measure. Like, you break it to make the audience feel a certain way. Like, oh, that feels uneasy. They shouldn't have done that. Like,
Perfect example, Freddy Krueger's colors on his
Yeah.
sweater, that specific shade of red and
Yeah.
that specific shade of green were put together. They're so
gaudy.
they're so off.
Yeah.
How was it described? Those two colors go so poorly.
Yeah.
That shade of red and that shade of green go so poorly together, it makes the audience feel uneasy.
Yeah.
And it was meant to do that. The color
Yeah.
on his sweaters, it was used to.
So we say
Elicit
all that
an
to say
emotion.
that, like, you have critics, like art critics, but it's so hard to critique art in the sense that it's so subjective.
Yeah.
You know, the value that you find in a work of art is not necessarily going to be the same that I find in it,
Right.
because, again, different experiences, different worldviews, different outlook on life. Like,
Right.
we're not going to see the same thing.
We like a lot of the same bands.
Yeah.
But I know you don't share the same. Like, I grew up, like, well, in my teen years,
Yeah.
I was, like, big into MCR.
Yeah.
And you're not as much of a fan because,
It's not what I listen to.
right.
I don't have that connection.
You don't have that connection. For me, they were the first band of that kind that I
Yeah.
listened to. And no matter who else I listened to, I always went back to them because it was
That's what you compared it
it was
to.
my first.
Yeah.
And MCR popped my punk cherry. And Punk Cherry, that's a name for a
Yeah.
band.
I was like Thistlehair the Christmas Bear. Like, I don't care about Thistlehair, but, like,
Morgan did because that's what she
Morgan
grew
did.
up on.
She grew up on that. She has that connection there.
Bless her little
Yeah.
Townville country
Yeah.
heart.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like, that's
man.
not my Christmas.
Right.
You know?
MCR's not your punk band,
Yeah.
but for me, it's like it can take me back to being in my bedroom and
Yeah.
like jamming out
Yeah.
and connecting
Jamming
to
out
it.
in your jammies.
Yeah,
Your jammy jams.
in my jammies, or as Ayla would say, my pajamas.
Pajamas.
Yeah. If I have too much water before I go to bed, they could be pajamas.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah.
Well, that's devolved.
It really has. We went from the most
Yeah, we were
like psychological discussion about art to
pajamas.
pissing in my bed.
So check out Artmane. Yeah.
And not me.
Yeah. Again, TikTok. What?
Yep.
All sorts of places. Artmoney.com/shop.
Uh-huh.
Did I get that right?
Artmoney.com/shop.
/ I think it's always / Okay. And okay.
Well, for splitting
And
forward
for
slash
splitting- yeah, for splitting slashes.
For splitting slashes.
Oh.
As long as we don't, I don't know,
Slit splashes.
spit on
Sashes.
I was gonna say spit on sashes,
Yeah.
but I was trying to think of something more derogatory. Like,
Yeah.
it just sounds.
I see where you're going.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll reserve those words and things like that for
not-
Quaid.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was gonna say for not featured creator episodes.
yeah. Should probably.
We're trying to conduct ourselves with an air of professionalism over here.
Well, that's new.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
At least a little bit for as professional as we get, you know.
Yeah.
But
We also let our childlike minds wander.
yeah.
And I think that's a form of our art too. Is
What, getting lost in our... You ever watched Secret Life of Walter Smith?
Walter Mitty?
Walter Mitty, yes.
Yeah, it's.
I halfway started leaning in. I know what you thought I was going to ask.
Oh no, I didn't.
I figured you would think, oh, he's about to ask about Scott Pilgrim versus the World again. Like, we watched that movie together. But no, The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, where he, like, that's the whole movie is him, like, inside his head.
Yeah.
I relate to that.
For a recap, a very brief history lesson between myself and Trey.
Yeah.
For the first 2 years that we knew each other, he asked me if I'd seen Scott Pilgrim versus the World maybe five times.
It may have been a little more than that.
And he had completely forgotten that he'd asked me. This was over the course of 2 years.
Yeah.
And
It would come up every, like, couple of months or so.
I was living here, and the last time you'd asked me, this was right after I moved in, I feel like. You asked me, and I thought you were joking, because
No,
it
I was
hadn't
dead serious.
been that long since you'd asked me the last time. And I said, I almost laughed, and I was like, no.
Oh, this poor guy's serious.
No, man. And then it was either that night or the next night that we watched it.
Yeah.
So now when you ask me jokingly, I
Yeah.
can say, yes, I have.
So...
Yeah, check out Artmane. You're gonna enjoy her work. If your brain is refined at all, you're gonna enjoy her work.
Yeah. Or even unrefined. I think you can find some beauty in it.
You should. Well,
Yeah.
that's gonna wrap her up. We're coming off the heels of our New Year's Eve
That is correct.
video.
Let's get deep episode.
Let's get deep.
So
So
get deep with us.
go back and get deep with us. We would like to officially welcome you to the new year.
Yes. Welcome.
What are you gonna create? What are you gonna do?
Yeah. What are you creating this year?
Even if it's a unhealthy habit to binge every one of our podcast episodes,
We're fine with that.
create something.
Yeah.
Yeah, get unhealthy with us.
Yeah.
I don't know when
I don't know, son.
I don't know, son.
It's just a new year.
It's just a mic in front of my face. Yeah. Well, we better go check on
Our
your
food.
chicken.
Yeah.
And if you recall from the last episode,
We're recording this right after.
it's still smoking. The
Yeah.
chicken's still out there. It's
been
3
3
days
days.
later, and we're still smoking that chicken.
All right.
All right, then. Well, we've been the Scottish Hush Puppy, and I got some food to go eat.
And until then, my ghastly gang, stay spooky.
Ooh.
Jordan Bell stirred. Jordan Bell stirred.
Create shit. Build anything. Make it real.
I've been getting dirty money, Jordan Bell third. Stacking penny stocks while I'm flipping these birds. Sipping on Ciroc, trip 'em up with the words.